everybody. Thank you for coming today. Sorry we started late. We got the yakking backstage and I lost track of time. And I looked up and I went, oh, we were supposed to start 5 minutes ago. I would love to introduce you to Andrew, and I'm going to mess up your last name if I say it, so I'll let you say it.
That's all right. Andrew Georgiou.
Georgiou. Okay, it's with a soft G, not a hard G. That's why I was like, if I'm not careful, I'm going to totally screw up his name.
That's all right.
Andrew is the creator, founder, owner of Andro+Niki products, which is, let's see if I can get it back up here. This is what the website looks like. And you can scroll down. It goes over, how you do it, the different products, different kits you can order. You can go in and order separate serums and whatnot. It's just, oops, let's get us back on the right one there. Okay, it's amazing stuff, y'all. Y'all hear me yak about it every week, but the dark spots are almost completely gone. And that was before I got the dark spot remover and even realized that was in the offerings. I was just blown away by just the three main items that come out with the kit, which is the nighttime, the daytime, and the anti-aging. And I'm going to show a little bit here, and then I want to turn Andrew loose to talk about what got this going, how he got started, everything. This is the serum. It comes in a little tube, you take it off and you open it up, one squirt. It's all it takes, one squirt. The base moisturizer comes in. This is the box. I keep everything in the box because I share a bathroom with my son and things tend to fall. He's not quite as careful as me around stuff. This is the moisturizer, and it's like the little top goes down and pumps up moisturizer. It doesn't even take a whole pump for me. I half a pump and I'm covered. And so something new Andrew sent me to try was, this is the face scrub. And this stuff works great. It's just like a gel with the little scrubbing thingies in there, and you don't feel it. It doesn't feel grainy or slimy or anything like that. Believe me, I've tried all kinds of stuff. This is my new best friend, and this is the vitamin C toner that you do after you wash your face and stuff. And like I was telling Andrew backstage, when I was younger, my skin was very, very, very oily, and I would use rubbing alcohol on it just to try to absorb the oil that would just come out of the pores. And then as I got older, every toner I used would burn my skin, and I just quit using it. And when he sent me that one to try, and I tried it, the first thing I noticed was it doesn't burn, and my skin feels refreshed, and it doesn't burn. That was the biggest selling point for me. It was like, and it smells nice too. That's a plus. So this just a handful of some of the products. I just wanted to take some out, let y'all get a look. The address for the website is below in the description box. Y'all can go in and check out. They have different starter packs, the things that maybe specifically gear towards men over women or women over men. And it doesn't matter what color your skin is. Skin is skin. It all works the same.
Right. Absolutely.
And I've got a few friends that are waiting for their packs to come in and can't wait to get started. So, oh yeah, just really, somebody in the chat said teal twinsies or shirts.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. It's because
we did not coordinate that.
It's because we're psychic. We figured it out ahead of time.
That's it. Because I had a completely different outfit I was going to wear. And then the last minute this morning, I changed my mind. I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna wear
Yeah,
my
me
t-shirt.
too, actually. The same for me. Last
So,
minute, I changed my mind. There you go.
great minds think alike.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So, Andrew, I am going to turn the mic over to you and let you tell your story, how this all came about, what led you down this road to create this fantastic product. I talk about it with everybody because I love it so much. I mean,
Sherry,
it's
thank
just,
you.
I can't say enough about it, So,
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on today. And if ever I get a chance to do infomercials, you're going to be the hostess.
You got it.
Yeah,
You got it. I'll do it.
Right, exactly. Look, I first want to say how incredible your audience is. And your audience also has some similar members to Linda's audience and Mel's audience. And absolutely incredible. And the feedback that I've been getting and just the expression of support and backing has been unbelievable, because I think the community that's here is probably one of the most incredible human communities you can get. And I feel blessed to have been able to be a part of this. So, thank you so much for introducing me. I get asked a lot, Andro and Nikki, what is the name about? Is it yours? Is it somebody else's? Is it, what is it? And there is a story. There is a story that goes back to even before I was born. And some of your audience might have already heard this, but I'll tell the story again. When my parents got married, my father's mother had already passed away. So my mother's mother-in-law, she didn't know. And just after they got married, they tried to have children, a couple of miscarriages, and then she fell pregnant with me. And that's great.
Thank God.
Yes. In her second trimester, she tells the story. One night she had a dream about a woman with very strong, striking features coming to her in her dream. Striking features probably much like mine. And said, "You need to name your child after me." My mother sort of woke up, thought, what on earth is that? Didn't think much of it, went back to sleep. The night after, she had exactly the same dream, and she sort of woke up from it. "You need to name your first child after me." And it shook her up a little bit, but she went back to sleep and didn't think much of it until the third night. She had the same dream, woke up my father and said, "I have to tell you, I've had this dream 3 nights in a row. I have no idea what it means." My father said, "Describe the woman to me." And she did. My father got up, went into the closet, pulled a shoebox full of photos, pulled out a photograph of his mother and said, "By any chance, might this be the woman?" And of course, it was. She went crazy, of course. But she, obviously there was no dream after that. But she felt, she went into labor early with me. There was a problem. And there was a chance, a very big chance, that I wasn't going to make it. So they tried to delay the labor as much as possible. They gave her drugs to delay it. But finally they said, in the end, we're going to have to save the mother and spare the child. So they basically said, all right, let's do what we need to do. And I was born 4 days after she went into labor. As is good Greek custom, when a baby's born and they know that it's not going to survive, the priest comes to the hospital as fast as he can. And performs a baptism to make sure that the soul will go to heaven, is, of course, the belief. And so the priest came, baptized me, Andronicus. Andronicus is the male version of my grandmother's name, which is Andrew Nikki. Andrew Nikki is actually my grandmother's name. I mentioned that my mother went into labor and they held the labor back as much as possible. She went into labor February 10th. My grandmother was born February 10th. That was her birthday.
Wow.
So I was born 4 days later. Yes, Valentine's Day. And
My son was supposed to be Valentine's Day, but he came 2 weeks early, so he was
2
the
weeks
third.
early.
Yeah.
I was 2.5 months premature.
Oh,
So
wow.
they gave me 24 hours to live. But as my grandmother has also told the story, after the priest came, the doctors were amazed as to how much I started to bounce back. And here I am. So that's a little bit of the backstory. About 12 years ago, I had a reading with Mel, and he said a whole bunch of stuff to me that just couldn't fit into my reality at the time. But
yeah, I've had readings like that, given and taken. It is like, yeah.
And at the time, it was like, I can't see that road. I can't see that road ahead. But he was adamant, this is the road ahead. And that was 12 years ago. Not long after that reading, though, I started to think about some of the things that Mel said, but also, what is my journey here? I've been working for big companies, big corporations, earning them lots of money, earning them awards in their industry, the whole lot. And a little voice in my head said, when are you going to do that for you? I continued to sort of do more of that for others. And then finally, about 4 years ago, a voice in my head said, it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
And don't delay. So I'm like, boy, okay. I called my sisters. I said, can you help me? I want to start up a skincare company. They were all over it. Of course, they said, yes, that's great. And then we tried to come up with a name, Derma this or Derma something that or whatever. And all the names were, you know, the names that would be highly marketable were already taken by people and held without putting businesses behind them, which is, you know, something. And they try and sell the names for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, which
it's ridiculous.
That's not what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting thinking, okay, this has got to be for men and for women. It's got to be age agnostic. It's got to be gender agnostic. It's for everybody. And all of a sudden, I start to think about my grandmother and Andrew Nikki. And then in that moment, it was like, oh yeah, that's a masculine and a feminine, two names together, Andrew Nikki. Let's do it. And that's how the name
perfect too. So yeah.
But one thing that is for sure, ever since I started this, that road that Mel described 12 years ago started to come in sight. And it wasn't until that moment that I really sort of cemented some thoughts that I had, you know, that were coming to me, that it really, really started to make sense. And, you know, I can tell you Mel is great at his profession for sure. But
oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've all been blessed by Mel in one way or another. So yeah,
absolutely.
he's remarkable.
Absolutely. So that's the story. I mean, that's how we're here. My I never, of course, knew my grandmother, but since starting Andro+Niki, family members have come out of the woodwork telling me stories about her, those who knew her, that she was a very, very strong, charismatic individual. She won a beauty pageant when she was in her 20s.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea. I had no idea. And I feel her presence. I mean, I really do. And the more I've gotten into this, the more I feel her backing and her support. And I really do feel that there's a purpose there. I feel like
Yeah.
we're sharing something that she would have also really loved to be a part of. And that sort of very spiritual connection is what drives, I think, why we want to do things differently. So that's the
hard
name.
what
That's
you
how we
and me
got started.
first started telling me the story was like, oh wow, you know, it's like this. It's like someone within the family suddenly does something and everybody wants to jump on board and all right, let's get this going. You know,
Right.
you see that with a lot of families that come over to our country, um, that they all concentrate, work together, get one of them up and running with a business, and then they switch down to the next person, and then they all work together and get that. And I've seen it across from the East Coast to West Coast. You know, different family groups that do that, and it's like, you know, no wonder they're so successful because they don't have that kind of cutthroat attitude. You know, it's all for one and one for all within their family, and it's like it's. I think it's something that that a lot of us kind of lost sight of, so to speak. You know, we're so used to just doing for number one, we forget there's a whole family structure
Right.
behind us
Right.
there to support and help.
Right. And I think what really has sort of been the enlightening thing for me is that, you know, family connection doesn't necessarily mean those who are still here. You know,
Right,
family connection can come from, you know, many generations back, and that soul connection is always there, even potentially if you've never physically met that person.
right,
Um, because we are all part of their legacy in some way, shape, or form. You
right,
know, the way my father brought me up is because of the way his mother, my grandmother, taught him to treat people.
right.
So,
Yeah,
there is a legacy here for me as well. But I think out of all of it, the biggest lesson I've learned out of this is that when you're open to it, when the universe has something, a message that needs to be delivered to you and an inspiration to take a step forward, that there's lots of things that come around that help open that door. So Mel was one of those. And then from there, because of the way he sort of laid it out, I started to see glimpses and ideas and inspirations that I probably would not have seen if someone hadn't have helped to open that door. But,
right.
you know, as I continued along this path, and yeah, there were many times I kept coming back to his reading, sort of questioning why, how, you know, whatever. When I allowed myself to take a step back, I would get an inspiration. And then it was like, oh, okay, that's a step. Overthinking it doesn't get me there. It's really taking a step back to come here. And I think that's what's important for anybody, anybody who has an idea, is trust your intuition, trust your feelings.
Yeah,
And, you know, because there is a reason why it's in your mind. There's all, you know, the reason why someone holds on to an idea is because it's theirs and theirs to do something with. And if you're in tune with that, the inspiration will come.
absolutely. I mean, I knew I had abilities since I was 3, 4 years old. And when I would be asked, who are you talking to? Or what are you looking at? And I would just, what a 4-year-old, I'm talking to God. I
Yeah.
didn't know what else to call
Right.
it.
Right.
But nobody like tripped out about it. They were like, oh, okay. And when I was 9, there was an incident when my mother just looked at me and went, oh, you got the gift too. And that's all she said. And it was not another word. It was never talked about,
Right.
never explained. So I just kind of kept it tucked away and pretended like I didn't hear that, see that, know that, because I didn't want to be picked on, or made fun of, because I
Sure.
would be different. It wasn't until I started getting a little older that I started finding out that all the women in our family have the gift, as they
Yes.
called it, in different variations and forms. And then once I realized that and sat back and started thinking about it, it was like, oh, yeah, well, that explains why Aunt Cindy did this, or why my grandmother did that, or things started making sense. And then
Right.
in the early 2000s, I started kind of peeking in that doorway to see what's there. Okay, y'all been hanging out back here all my life and with me pretending like you weren't there, but now I'm actually opening the door and saying, is anybody there? And
Yeah.
it just was, in the beginning, it was very overwhelming. I literally had to say, wait, one thing at a time, because it was like this mad rush to hit me with everything. And I was literally backing up going, this is too much information too fast. I can't do this. And it just slowly started trickling in. And then when COVID hit, we went into lockdown.
Yeah.
And my mother had just passed just before that. And I was not in a good place mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I was a wreck. And I just went on YouTube one day and started channel surfing just to see what was there. And that's how I fell into this community of people. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing and hearing. And so much of it resonated so strongly with me. And then um, a, one particular psychic that was always in the chats, she started in on me. You're psychic, right? And I'd be like, yeah, no, not really. She's like, no, really. She says, you're supposed to be reading cards. And I'm like, I don't even own cards. I don't know anything about reading cards. She was like, give me your address. And she sent me my first 2 tarot decks. And that's, I got them and I'm like, okay, now what? And she just kind of taught me the basic steps, what to do, how to do it. And it took a while to kind of get my feet under me with it. And then I started the channel and it took about 6 months before I actually did anything with it. And then it's just been this slow process of learning and growing as I go along. And then uh, Linda was, of course, one of the first people I saw online. Um, she's kind of our rock star of the community.
Yeah. For sure.
And uh, and then I saw Mel on with her for the first time, and I went to a couple of his solo live shows that he started doing, because he was kind of new at doing this stuff, and just chatting in the chat. And we got to talking. And then next thing I know, suddenly we're doing a show together. And then we're like friends. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it just kind of threw me off. I wasn't, it was like not what I was expecting to happen. And then I got to know
Right.
Linda and so many others. And so, and yeah, it's really amazing when you start following the path you're meant to follow. And that's how I felt the first time I got my first deck of cards and held them in my hand and started to try to use them. And it just felt like coming home. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is what I'm supposed to do with myself. I
Yeah.
didn't know all these years. It was like it just kind of going along and not really, you would meet people that had such a vision or drive for a certain thing that they felt that's where they're supposed to be. And it'd be like, how come I never got that? But it just, they were knocking, I just wasn't listening. So
Yeah,
it took a while, and now I'm glad I did because I've met so many wonderful people.
absolutely,
From
absolutely.
those I read with to those in the chat to
Yeah.
it's truly humbling how supportive and loving everybody is,
Oh my God, I've been completely overwhelmed by it. I mean, the love, the support, the encouragement from the whole community has been astonishing. I mean, beyond astonishing. I mean, it's also, it feels rather unreal because, with all the craziness that's going on
Yeah,
outside, and you're looking for people that have some empathy, some respect, some whatever, and it seems to be diminishing more and more. To be able to be in a community like this where there really is a connection and people really do care,
first
that's a
6 months
blessing.
of me in it, I was like, all right, when are the claws coming out? I kept waiting
No,
for the cattiness to come out, and people start
right on the spider.
at each other, and it never happened. And I was like, this can't
Right.
be real. It took me a while to realize this is real. These people really do care, and they
Yeah.
ask questions, and they reach out if something. And my son had a heart attack. My son's 41 now. He had a heart attack last year.
Wow.
Scared the bejesus out of me.
I bet.
Um, and the amount of love and outpouring from everyone within the community, even those that didn't really know me that much or didn't really watch me that much before then. I was getting emails and messages, and of course we were worried about how the hell are we going to pay for this. And somebody said, do a GoFundMe. And so we opened the GoFundMe, and the amount of people that just contributed was mind-boggling.
Amazing.
And they still ask me, I mean, he's fine now. It's discovered it was a hereditary thing. Um, so he has to be more careful now and watch what he eats and what he does and everything. And it was just a real eye opener for all of us. And it 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 was just the response from everyone, just the outpouring of love and support that was just like, wow, I wasn't expecting that, and it's truly humbling. You're right. I mean,
Yeah, truly. I mean, like I said, your audience is extraordinary. And when I started to become, being introduced to your audience, and with Mel and Linda and yourself and Arthur, I really was not sure what to expect. But the connection and the feedback and the words of encouragement was what has really kept me fueled, to say, I'm on the right track. And I do think that when you are doing life's purpose, when you are in the groove of doing life's purpose, that feedback comes from everywhere because there
oh
is an
yeah,
alignment in terms of what your purpose is, who you're sharing that with, who's watching it, and that energy synergistically comes together to do what was destined. And that
exactly.
is that's what brings the cheerleaders. That's what brings the results. That's what brings everything. You know,
Yeah.
I, I get people ask me all the time, how do you tune into your inspiration? What do you do? Do you meditate? Do you whatever? And I do think that trying to find life's purpose is the challenge that every human being on the face of the earth goes through, right? What
Oh
is my
yeah.
purpose here on earth?
Why am I
And
here?
right,
Yeah.
why am I here? I think the answer is so simple that we dismiss it, and that is when
Yeah.
you're in the right place at the right time and things are going in the right direction, that's your purpose. That's the
Everything
stepping
just
stones of
clicks into
life,
place.
right?
Yeah.
And when they're not, that's a time to assess as to whether that's part of your purpose or not.
Yeah.
And so in this situation, certainly with Andrew and Nikki, you know, I started, I was, not sure where things would go, but that energy, that support, that encouragement, and the feedback from those who've tried the product has been so overwhelming that I know that this is part of my life's purpose. I mean, this is, and I do feel I'm sharing this with Andrew Nikki up there. You know,
Absolutely.
there is.
I get a strong impression of her just like, yay, he's doing it. It just kind of, it just really, because in my mind's eye, I just picture her as this really strong and powerful woman who just didn't take no crap off of nobody. You know, mama says go, you go, and you don't question it. And I think most grandmothers and great grandmothers of that time frame, you know, back in the day, they were either completely cowed under by those around them, or they were the leader of the pack and they told the whole family what to do and how you do it. I grew up in the deep South, so I grew up with those deep Southern women who were like, they were the boss, and it was yes ma'am, no ma'am, you didn't question, you just did what they said, you know. And so it's that's the impression I get off of her. It's just you're excited about all of this.
You're 100% spot on. She had 6 children, and you know, my grandfather spent a lot of time away for work and whatever, and so she had to be strong in order to survive. I mean, she had to be, and the way you describe her is perfect. I mean, it's exactly how everyone has described it to me. But you know, that needing to take care of people, you know, particularly a family, and certainly in her day, she would have had also a lot of desires and a lot of dreams to do something more, and probably did not have the opportunity to do so. Or I know she didn't have the opportunity to do so. And so can it be also that our purpose lives even after we have transitioned from this earth? That we also continue to work with the souls that we know that we've connected with, perhaps in other lifetimes, to continue purpose. And I do feel we have a collective purpose, you know, with groups of people that we know, and also a bigger collective purpose as a human race. So
I know I've been asked by people who are thinking about starting a channel and stepping out, and they'll be like, you know what, why, there's already so many people online that do this. I'm like, yeah, but your voice may be the only voice that someone out there hears. None of the rest of us will resonate with that person, but you will. So even if it's just for that one person, do it. Because you don't know what it's going to mean to them for that connection to be made. I said, I certainly felt like that when I got started doing this. I mean, if somebody would have told me 6 years ago, you're going to be on camera and meet people around the world and interviewing and reading cards, for God's sakes, and I would have laughed in their face. I'm like, yeah, right, I'm going to be on camera? I don't think so. And so it's funny to think back to where my thinking was then at the time. And it was after getting a few readings from people within the community that started telling me things. It was like, okay, number one, how would you even know that? Because I've never talked about it. Yeah, I was new to the community. And then 2, it was laying out the groundwork, much as your mother's dreams, you know, of what to expect, what path you're supposed to follow, what is your reason for being here. And as it starts happening, you start going back to what people have said. You're like, oh, I get it now. Okay. And so, yeah, it makes a big difference.
It does. It really does. And, you know, when you're feeling that sense of connection and you really feel like you're doing something and you're sharing it, then, you know, everything starts to come together. You know, the people you're supposed to meet start to find you, and, you know, the places you need to be start to sort of become on part of your path. And, you know, it's been an incredible journey. If I look at everything that I did before I started Andro+Niki Skincare, I can tell you that everything that I had done was preparing me to this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From my background in marketing, from branding, the companies I worked for, the whole lot. And all those little pieces are stepping stones to get me to where we are today. And this is even a stepping stone to something else. So,
Right.
We're
continually growing and changing.
Right. That to me is what life is about. Everything is a stepping stone in and of itself. There is no beginning or end. It's an evolution. And, when we acknowledge that and we can just allow ourselves to be part of it, then, tuning in and sort of relaxing becomes a much easier process of trusting feelings, trusting your own feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then you're already seeing the progress you've made because you start following
right
what you're being connected and told, go this way, take that step, take that chance. And then you start seeing positive results. And it's like, oh, okay, I get it now,
Yeah.
And even then there's still days where you're like, really, that's what you want me to do? And like, I don't know if I can do that or not, and then I just hear it. Just shut up and do what we're telling you. And so it's like,
yeah, that's right.
I have very blunt guides. They know better than to pussyfoot around me. They're like to the point.
Yeah. Well,
and,
and when you have that sense of trust, I think that's also very natural. No reason to pussyfoot around when you have a lot of trust.
Exactly.
But, in business, it's a very interesting situation to see people in business as well and how they trust their intuition. In sort of the corporate world of America, we're told that it's always about facts and figures and numbers and the whole lot. But I've never subscribed to that point of view. For me, it's always been, what is really the inspiration of what needs to be done? So what is the feeling?
Yeah.
And then it's, okay, now I need to think that through. What are the steps? What do I need to action? And, the what, when, where, why, and then go into action. So feeling first, facts, and then action. So feeling, thinking, action. But I see a lot of people in business who don't trust their feelings, who just go from thinking to action, thinking to action, thinking to action, thinking to action. They're running around, working like crazy. But if you ever said to them, what are you doing for yourself? They're like, myself? What's that? Or conversely, people who are tuning in and feeling and thinking, but never move into action. And so, a lot of talking, a lot of expression, a lot of noise, but no effort. I see a lot of people in business do that too. So that whole process of making time to tune into your intuition, time to tune into what is for you, or for me, and when I'm speaking for myself, then being able to say, okay, how do I organize that?
Right.
That then creates the steps to move into action. That is the effortless rule of living in the moment and the effortless rule of basically fulfilling your dream. Because, if you don't have that feeling to begin with, then it's not yours. And you'll quickly find one. If you just go into action and just thinking and acting, it may not be your opportunity, but you'll never find out unless you tune back into your feelings.
Exactly.
So
when I started doing this, I was flying by the seat of my pants. I had no clue what I was doing.
Right.
And now I'm in the process of, I'm trying to build a website so that I can make it an official business, because I haven't taken that step yet. And because it was still kind of at the hobby level, even though I knew this is what I'm supposed to do, it's because I still work a full-time job. So, it's like, I'm limited on when I can work on this as opposed to 10 hours a day at the office. And, but it's slowly starting to morph into the other direction as I just started trusting. Okay. And I mean, I work at a university in the computer science department, no less. I know nothing about computers.
Amazing.
And I was talking with one of my faculty one day, and he found out what I was doing. He was like, "You're all, I didn't know you were doing that." And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, he's like, "Well, what kind of business structure do you have?" I'm like, "I don't have a business structure. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm totally lost." He's like, "All right, when you get to the stage where you're like, okay, now I need to turn this into a business," he's like, come see me, and I'll walk you through the steps, because that's he's an informatics PhD with an MBA, and I mean that's his whole thing is business, business informatics and starting businesses and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, once I started seriously entertaining that thought, suddenly, boom, this guy gets hired and starts working for us.
Yeah. See, right. That's
And,
right.
and so it's like spirit brought him in, plopped him down,
Right.
and then we just hit it off and became friends. And one day one of my, one of the students had popped in and to say that, "Oh, I saw you on YouTube the other night. It was a great show you did." And he's looking at me, he's like, "YouTube, what are you doing?"
Right.
And when I told him, he was like, "Oh, that's so cool." And we just started, the conversation just went from there. But it was all because spirit started lining things up
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So,
Indeed. Indeed.
and now I'm trying to take the proper steps to go to the next step without rushing it before I'm ready, or rushing it and then misstepping and messing myself up. So
Right.
it's like
Right.
trying. Now I'm at the point where it's a lot of time talking to my guide, saying, "Okay, now what? Okay, now what? Okay, now what?" It's, I'm sure they get tired of me saying that, but always been like, they just bring the right person along and just pop
Right.
it in my face.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, okay, thank you. Now I
Exactly.
get it. So yeah, and that's why when Mel first told me about the product, and talking about you, and you were a friend, it wasn't just somebody sporadically that he saw online or something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll try. Let's It's a friend. Well, then it's part of the family. So let's push it out there." And then I got it and started using it. It was like rang all my bells. I was like, "Oh, definitely got to talk about this." So yeah, I know people probably get tired of hearing me do it all the time, but
Yes.
that's why I was so happy when you said you'd come on, because I wanted to be able to just give you the opportunity to tell your story, and because it was so profound to me the first time I heard you tell it, with Linda and Mel on her channel, and I was like, "Oh wow, this really resonates with me." Why I felt so drawn to this from the get go, because I've had people offer me, "Oh, you can try this for free and whatnot," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And sometimes stuff shows up and it never even gets opened. It just doesn't do anything for me. And so it was totally different with this. It was like I couldn't wait to get it. As soon as I got it, I started using it that day, and was just blown away with it. Like I said, the as the old saying goes, the proof is in the pudding. Um, and so
Well,
that's
thank
what
you.
you just start talking about it all the time, to the point where people are like, "Are you like on salary or something?" I'm like, "No, I don't get anything for this. This is how much
That's
I
true.
like it."
Um,
And this is the man who made it. He does not pay me anything.
well,
I go to the hosting thing for his infomercials, and then we'll have a contract. Until
yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah. Exactly. We'll build a contract when you're hosting the infomercials for sure.
there we go.
People have also asked me, what is so different. So just to be clear, the moisturizer and the serums are completely mine. So the everyday essentials, the other products, I worked in collaboration with other people, but the moisturizer was key, because one of the things that
This
started
is the
to yeah
moisturizer, y'all. Yeah.
one of the things that started to really sort of irritate me, right, is that there are many skincare companies who say, you know, you need this cream for daytime, you need this cream for nighttime, you need this cream for something else, and this cream for something else, and, you know, blah. And I'm
By the
thinking,
time you're done, you've spent $500
right,
on
right.
stuff that doesn't work.
And on top of that, you know, there's stuff that's got to bind things together. Now, binding agents and all that is, you have to have some of it. But
Yeah.
why? You know, why? So when I started working with some chemists in the skincare industry, and they had, you know, created over 1,000 products collectively. I mean, they've got, between the four of them, over, you know, 100 years of experience and developed over 1,000 products. I said, you know, I want this product to be stripped of as much fillers and binding agents as possible and stack it with as much active ingredients as possible. And they just sort of looked at each other and looked at me and said, you know, Andrew, that is the opposite of what skincare companies ask us for. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm here, you know, because that's not a game I want to play. And I know people in the skincare game who validate that that's what happens. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. So the idea, of course, was, okay, you've got a base moisturizer that you can apply in your hands, and it's rejuvenative and it's perfect as a base moisturizer. But you change its functionality in the morning when you add the anti-aging booster serum, a few drops of that. And then that same moisturizer becomes a different function. It becomes an anti-aging function. If you've had exposure to the sun, add some drops of the daytime protection to heal what the sun has done to your skin. It doesn't have UV. It isn't about protecting you from the sun. It's about helping restore the skin from exposure to the sun. Nighttime repair. I mean, the skin, we know, rejuvenates itself most efficiently at night. So if we can push that process a little further, a little harder, then that's going to make it even better for the nighttime rejuvenation of our skin. So then same moisturizer, but change the serum and put the nighttime repair drops into that moisturizer and apply. And
y'all, I'm telling you, it takes half a pump on the moisturizer and maybe one little squirt, which is like maybe 2 drops, 2-3 drops worth into your hand, and it will do your whole face.
Very little goes a long way.
And there is like rubbing it into your hands for the excess, you know. So
just a few drops, just a few drops. And of course, by doing that, you also don't have the binding agents that are trying to put the nighttime ingredients together with the moisturizer. They've gone because you're putting these two things together yourself. The serums are all organic. There are no fillers, there are no fragrances, there are no binding agents, no nothing in the serums.
And they're not greasy feeling at all, y'all. It's a very clean feel to them. I mean, take it from somebody who fought greasy skin all of my life when I was younger. The first things that you notice anytime you use any kind of makeup or skincare product is what's the feeling of it when you get it on your hands. Does it feel soft, like it's softening your skin, or does it feel like you're just putting a layer of grease on your face?
Right. Because if it's greasy, it's not penetrating. It's just sliding around. So you're spot on there. Absolutely spot on. But I think what's been also really interesting is the feedback that we're getting. I had one person send me an email the other day, and Joanne in Canada, if you're watching, hi. She said to me that this product did more for her in 2 days than any day of the 30 years she had been using a famous brand skincare. I won't mention the name, but starting with L, that she'd been using all her life.
I've used that one too.
And she said, I was flabbergasted. And I'm like, wow. I mean, so
me, I got it and started using it, and I've spent a fortune as the dark spots started showing up on my face, and I knew the women in my family all dealt with it and just learned to live with having dark spots, and it just really bothered me. It's like you can only put so much makeup on there,
Right.
and you know, in a couple of hours it starts bleeding through because the makeup starts
Yeah.
to sweat off, or
Right.
you know, if you wipe your face or something, you're losing some of it. And I've never been a real heavy makeup user anyway. I mean, I know some people it's like shellac, you know, they put
Yeah.
so much on,
Right.
and I don't like the feeling of it. And so when I got this and first tried it, and Mel was like, "You don't have to use a lot, just a little bit, you know," and then go from there. And if you go to the website, there's videos on how to do it, how to use it, how to put in a refill jar into your, you know, when it runs out. And um and so it's like you have steps all along the way of what's the best way to use this product. You have really good explanations for each different, like for all the different kinds of the serums. Like this is the anti-aging one. um and again, it's, you take it off, you do a little twist, open it, and it's boom, one drop. All it took was one pump.
Right.
And then now it's on my hands, and I started using that on the back of my hands because I was getting spots
Mel
on the
also.
back of my hands too. But um with yeah, because he was talking about he used it on his hands and stuff, and I was like, "You're using face stuff on your hands?" And he's like, I'd take a bath in it if I could. I'm like, okay, that's a little much, Mel, but that's what he says.
You did.
So like
Yeah.
I said, I got it and started using it, and I was doing the daytime one in the morning after I washed my face in the morning before I put on my makeup. And then I was using the nighttime one at night after I took off my makeup and cleaned my skin. And within about a week and a half, like I said, I went to put makeup on one morning, and I was like, where did the spot go? I had, you know, a quarter size dark spot on my cheekbone. Now it's still there, but it's so lightened now that you can
Right.
barely see it, and makeup covers it. And I'm not having to put like a ton of makeup on it, you know. Um, and that was the one night on, I think it was Mel and Arthur's Aloha Tuesday. I'd work backstage for them, run their chat and everything so that
Right.
they don't have to think about that. And Mel was talking about it, and he was like, well, wait, Sherry uses it. Sherry, pop on the screen real quick. And when I did, I was like, it made the dark spots go away. Oh my God, you didn't tell me that was part of the deal. And he was like, really? He didn't know either. I'm like, I'm flipping out about this, you know. And then that's when you emailed me about 2 weeks later and reached out, you know, and I was like, this stuff is just fantastic. And so yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the minute that I, within a couple of days, I started noticing the elasticity in my skin was coming back. It did, because as you get older, your
That's
skin
right.
tends to get that kind of
That's right.
papery type of feeling to it, you know, and like parchment paper almost. You feel like if you rub too hard, you're gonna crack your skin open. And in my younger years, I was sun worshiper at the beach, you know, laid out and burning myself into a leather pouch. Um, and this has just been remarkable at how well it has been at just restoring the elasticity
Yeah.
in my skin and making it feel
Right.
like it did 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
So
Um,
one of the reasons why we wanted to do this system, why I wanted to do this system, moisturizer and serums, is because, you know, regular skincare is the same every day, and it assumes that your skin is the same every day. But you and
right.
I and everyone else watching knows that on any given day, your skin is not the same as it was before. An extra glass of wine at night will change your skin the next morning. Drinking
Mhm.
less water will change your skin from the day before. What you ate,
Yeah,
hormonal changes, weather changes, a whole lot. Your skin is different every single day. But
exactly.
when your moisturizer is the same, what are we doing? So
Yeah.
the ability to change and regulate your moisturizer by putting the amount of drops that you want, and not only just the amount of drops, but the kind of serum that you feel your skin needs. If anyone knows your skin,
Yeah.
going
I
to be
mean,
you.
there's like a breakout and blemish one.
Right.
And when I
Yeah.
first got that, I thought, well, I don't really deal with that anymore. Although when I was a teenager, I wish I would have had that then. But every now and again, I get breakouts, just for whatever reason, whatever's going on. And I'll just have I'll have a few breakouts come up. And I started using this just by itself and just dab it on those few spots and gone,
Yeah,
within a couple of days. And
we have a serum for oily skin. That's this one. And people are like, Andrew, how do you have a serum for oily skin? That doesn't make sense. I'm like, well, the formulation is designed to calm down the production of oil from the sebaceous glands. And so it isn't about putting oil on top of oily skin. It's about helping your sebaceous glands calm down to stop overproducing.
right.
And that's where, the science comes into it. And so, every one of those 7 serums each have their own purpose, their own function. And by adding it into the moisturizer or using them on their own, you change the functionality of your moisturizer, meaning one moisturizer day in, day out, and change the functionality as you need to. And and we're getting so much great feedback of people who are like, finally, I'm in control. I just wanted control of my skincare.
There
And
you go.
Finally,
That's
they're in control.
Yeah, it's like, when I've had the flare-ups or the breakouts, well, I've got something I can use for that. When my arms and my legs get really, really, really dry, like I was telling you, because I sit at a desk all day and most of the night, my elbows and my arms here tend to get really dry and scaly because they're constantly rubbing on the chair arms.
Right.
And when I started using which one, the damage prevention booster serum and the dry and irritated booster system, and I started using them, and I mean within a couple of days I started noticing the cracked elbows went away, the skin flaking on my arms or here went away. And in fact, I have one of the dry skin ones I keep at the office
Right.
that I just mix with my regular lotion that I would normally be putting on my arms and hands. Because when you deal with a lot of paperwork, you lose a lot of moisture in your hands and stuff because you're constantly handling papers. And I'm in the in-between world of electronic and paper, and so it's a lot of transferring back and forth. And so I was used to constantly using lotion all day long. Every hour or something, I was slathering on more lotion because everything would get dry. When I started mixing just a few drops of the booster serum, just my regular lotion,
Right.
it was this huge difference. It was like, now maybe once, sometimes maybe twice, if I have extra things that I'm doing that dries out my skin, but it's not nearly as bad as it was beforehand. I mean, and every day is like I discover something new. Just like when you sent the toner, like I said, I fought oily skin all my life, especially as a teenager. Oh my God, I was like Zit City. It was so bad. And I finally quit using toners because they always burned my skin. Right. And when I got this vitamin C toner that you have, it was like it doesn't burn. And it actually made the skin feel refreshed. Like you just got out of the shower kind of feeling, Mm-hmm. And so it's little things like that as I've discovered as I've started using different things just to see, whoa, what does that do? Let's try this one. I
Yeah,
started experimenting now. What does that one do if I do this one? Yeah. What does that do if I do that one? And so it's been kind of fun just playing with it. Because I think I've got all the serums now at this point, and it's just playing with them, and seeing which one
yeah.
does what
That's it,
works.
and that's exactly, yeah, that's exactly what's intended, is to play around, because as I mentioned, you know your skin better than anyone else, and you know what you've done to your skin. I mean, if, like I said before, if you've had an extra glass of wine last night, you know how your skin may feel extra dry today. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now you get a chance to be able to take that control and say, okay, I played around, like you just said. I know that if I use this is kind of what happens. And as you sort of continue to work with the kit, you start to figure out what really your skin responds to, particularly under certain conditions, and perhaps less responsive at other times. And when you get to that rhythm with your skin, you are totally in control. I mean, and I think that's,
Well, and what I like about it is, yeah, you can get the starter kit, which is these three: the daytime, the nighttime, the anti-aging, and which is great for the starter kit because that pretty much covers everything.
right.
Um, but you can buy the individual serums. It's like
That's right.
with the anti-aging. If you use that morning and night,
That's
you're going
right.
to run out of this one before you run out of the
That's right.
daytime or the nighttime.
That's right.
And so you don't have to buy like a whole new kit
No.
to get one serum. You can buy the individual serums
Right.
as to what works for you and if something doesn't really work with you, then you don't buy that one.
Absolutely. I get a lot of emails of customers saying, what do I start with? And it's easy to say, buy everything, but that's not what
Yeah,
it's even all about. Start with this, start with that, just keep it simple and evolve with it, because you'll know.
exactly.
Now, one of the
Exactly.
things that, of course, did happen this month is we completely sold out. I mean, we took what we thought was about 9 months, 10 months of inventory and sold it out in 4 months. I mean, it's been
That's
beyond,
amazing. Yeah.
beyond, beyond comprehension, to be honest with you. And so thank you for everyone for being patient, because a lot of your audience has been incredibly patient. This weekend, yesterday, we were batching out more moisturizer. Coming up in the next couple of days, we're batching out more serums. Next month, we have scheduled a huge batch of moisturizer that's coming out. And so, thanks for being patient with us. The ingredients are not always easy to get, so we can't turn it on a dime, unfortunately. But we are hoping to never be in a situation where we're in back order again, hopefully, God willing. And
But that's a good problem to have. That tells you what you've got works. Because if you're running out of product, then that's not just people rebuying more of what they like, but that's people telling their family members, their buddies, their church group, their school group, whatever. And then they all jump on board and say, oh, let's give this a shot. And suddenly you got more and more and more people going in and buying it, and you run out because you're not expecting all those extra people to show. You think you want to be successful, and you got to, from a marketing perspective, yeah, you try to project about how much you think you're going to do in a
right.
certain time period, and then when you blow that out of the water, you got to recalibrate everything
That's exactly what
and
we're
go
going
back
through.
and be like, okay, if we sold that much in this
Right.
amount of time,
Right.
we need to like double or triple our order for the next
Right.
go around. And then if you run out of that, then it's like, that's when, I mean, I would think just with the first thing of run out, that it would be, I mean, that's to me is a big firework in the sky saying, obviously this works and people really like it because you're selling out of it. I mean, um,
Yeah.
I
It's
know that. Go
yeah.
ahead.
I was going to say, it's your audience that have been really full of grace, and to be patient. When we started to sell out, we were selling out very, very, very fast, and we couldn't get the 4 to 6 week notification up fast enough. But when we did, we started to let everyone know and communicate and the whole lot. And people are like, "That's okay, Andrew. That's okay. When it comes, it comes. We'll wait. I'm happy to wait."
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Because
most people, if their stuff runs out at the store, they just go buy something else, and they may never go back to that original product they were using because they buy something else and they like it better, or it's cheaper, or it's easier to get. But the fact that people are like, "Oh, that's okay, I'll wait," that says a lot too. I mean,
it's very humbling. I mean, I love your audience. I absolutely love them. I mean, I tell you,
I do too.
Every
they're
night
so supportive and loving. I mean,
absolutely. Every night
I have bad days and
blessed.
stuff, and they're all like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. We got you." It's like I do a normal every Saturday night. I do what I call the slumber party, and it doesn't even start till 10 o'clock at night, my time, which would be like 8 o'clock your time, and we just go for as long as I can stay awake, and it's the fun part of it. We use the naughty cards, which are very risque and lots of curse words, and it's just all in fun, picking and making fun. And so you can choose a naughty or a nice card, and that's what you'll get read, and everybody loves it. It's gotten real popular. And a few days ago I found out that a very close friend of ours who's a musician is playing locally tonight. And I immediately put a thing up on my community tab, said, "No party tonight, Saturday night. I'm going to a concert." I'm going to go listen to my guy do his thing. And Julian Primo, y'all can find him on YouTube. He's amazingly gifted. He and my son are good friends. They're about the same age. And he just got inducted this past year into the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame.
Wow, congratulations.
And he's like 42, 43, something like that. So a young guy to already go that far.
Amazing.
He grew up with music. His dad was a musician, and other family members, and he kind of plays I guess what you might call a hillbilly rock kind of blend, as well as some Mardi Gras tunes that he's created. And that's one most people know him by with me, because I play it on my channel. I got permission from him to play his music, so I wouldn't get a copyright strike. You have to get permission from the original artist. And so he was like, "Yeah, go ahead." So so that's where I'm going to be tonight, y'all. No slumber party. Sherry's going to the concert. I'm going to go hang out at the club. My son's a sound engineer, so he's getting to know like all the musicians in town. I mean, we have a steady stream of musicians that come to the house so he can record them. He's got all of his own equipment in his computer system.
What great energy in the house.
He's got drum kit, keyboards. I lost count of how many guitars. He just bought a fiddle because he thought, "I want to learn how to play the fiddle." So he got a fiddle, and he's already playing it like it blows my mind.
Wow.
You give him an instrument, give him a week, and he sounds like he was born playing it. I don't understand how he can do that. People have asked me over the years, "Oh, well, what do you play?" And I'm like, "I play the stereo, and I'm really good at it." And that's the extent of my abilities. He's the musician, the artist. He paints, he draws. Just blows my mind. I mean, his dad and I used to look at each other and go, "Where the hell did that come from?" Because we were both sports people. We both played sports. We were very athletic and not artsy creative at all. We have this artsy creative kid. We're like, "What happened?" Did we get the right kid or what?
Right. That comes back to purpose, right? I mean, when you really are living your purpose, it doesn't matter what your environment has told you.
Exactly.
It's going to come.
When he got out of the when my son got out of the Navy, I mean, he was battling PTSD really, really bad. He did 2 deployments and some not very pleasant instances of things happening over the other side of the world. And so that's been a real battle for him, the PTSD. And
Right.
he trying to find a job that he could do and not like get triggered and freak out over. And
Yeah.
we weren't having much luck. And then one day he was like, I want to go back to my music. And I'm like, well, then go back to your music. Do your music. That's always been your passion, is your music.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started playing again. And then one day out of the blue, he gets a call from one of the local restaurant clubs here in town that they run live bands on the weekend. And they were looking for a sound guy. And he's like, yeah, that's right up my alley. Because he was a sonar tech in the Navy. So he did all of that stuff.
Wow.
You know, he's been trained in the Navy to do active and passive sonar and all that kind of stuff. And
Amazing.
he loves it. I mean, it's like he found his purpose when he started doing the sound engineering. And I mean, I've seen him drag himself to the club to go work 6 a dog. And he never did that for any other job he ever had. It's like if he was sick, he was calling off it. I'm sick, but it's like, okay, now I know you're doing what you're meant to do because you're willing to go in sick as a dog. You don't care. You're
That's
going
right.
into work because that's how much joy you get out of it.
Yeah, he's
And
driven by the joy.
exactly. And now there's a lot of musicians he records and he'll mix and put them like a demo tape together or something that they can then use to try to get their music out. And he loves it. So it's anything to do with the music end of it. And that's his thing. And it's, of course, I've laughed. I said, I can remember when he was 16 and waking me up at 3 a.m. to say, Mom, listen to this. I just figured out how to play this song. And I'll be like, you can't wait till in the morning? No, listen right now.
It's important right now. Yeah.
It was important now. We can't wait a couple of hours for you to wake up normal, you know. Get up and let's get going. So yeah, I mean, I know what it is. And that's how it kind of was with me with opening up my spiritual gifts. And it was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Duh. Took a while. You
But when
had
you
a few
feel that
questions
awakening,
here.
it's nearly
Yeah,
your
it just
fault.
everything clicks.
Yeah.
Everything just it's
Yeah.
you can't really, it's hard to explain that feeling. It's just like everything
Really.
just falls into groove, you know. And
Yeah.
I always think of like when you see chains or you know stuff that work together when it's all right, everything you know, it all rotates, everything
That's right.
fits in with each other, it's right in the groove. You get
That's right.
off a little bit and suddenly
It's a
gears
mess.
break and it's a mess.
It's a mess.
We had a few questions here that I thought you might want to
Sure.
look
Love to
at.
hear some.
Rose was asking, what one thing should I start with first? The
I would,
moisturizer,
yeah,
right?
I would say that the
Number one.
moisturizer with the anti-aging booster serum, the anti-aging booster serum seems to be really not popular because it's anti-aging, but it is one of the most potent serums we have. And
It works really good.
when you, Sherry, talked about the fact that your dark spot was diminishing because of it, we suddenly started to have a whole bunch of emails from people who were experiencing the same thing. And we didn't design it for that. You know, we formulated it for anti-aging. But I would definitely say the anti-aging and then the mix it with the moisturizer or use it on its own. And I think that's a great start.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be where you'd start. And you can go online, Rose. It goes through all the different serums and what they do and what they kind of specialize with and whatnot. And if I remember correctly, yeah, there's even an email. If you have questions about particular things, you can contact the company and there's somebody there to answer you.
Yep.
And give you an answer for it. So that makes a big difference.
We have
Um,
people in multiple time zones, so we're trying to answer emails anytime we can.
there you go. So no matter when you're up, you probably get a response. That's
That's right.
important.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jason wanted to know, he lives in Los Angeles, Hollywood Hills area with friends in Palm Springs. Do y'all have any pop-up stores, or is it strictly online only right now?
So right now we are online, but the little secret is I am in Palm Springs right now.
There you go. I was
So
there a year ago.
write an email and we'll figure it out.
There you go, Jason. So give them a buzz.
Info at
Okay.
andro-nikki.com.
Yeah. Yep. And all of that should be in the description box below with the website and all that stuff. So y'all can go right straight to it. You can click through, look at all the different formulas, different things depending on what you're looking to do, and it'll walk you through all of it. He even has, like I said, the cleansing, just to wash your face with. It makes a huge difference. Let's see. Carmen wanted to know if there was a number to call about the dark spot remover, but you said y'all have got a batch coming in this coming week, right? So
yeah, so the dark spot remover is every week we are getting another batch. It's always sold out, but we're staying on top of it, so that should be there. There is a phone number. If you go onto the website, Help at Your Fingertips is right up at the top, and when you click on that, you'll see our phone number. But our phone number is 1-888-959-1499. But it's easier to email us. So, but either way, we'll help you out. No problem.
yeah, exactly. And if push comes to shove and you can't reach them, send me an email and I'll reach out and see if I can get an answer for you. So,
Exactly.
Sometimes it helps with who you know, not what you know.
That's right. That's true. That's very true.
Rose again also asked, does it help with stretch marks?
Yeah, we had a couple of customers actually write in and say that it's helped. The damage prevention is a booster serum that probably has some ingredients that will help with that. And I still think also, also the anti-aging, it may help as well. But
that one seems to be like the be all go all for just about any kind of problem issue you may be having, is jump to the anti-aging, because that's the one that I use that one twice a day, morning and night. So
now I do want to be clear that the products aren't formulated for stretch marks. However, I can say that we've had some customers write in, and if you're not happy with that, just let us know. But I would say that, and moisture is really important. So anything that will help. So the base moisturizer will be important, but you can use the serums on their own. They're very hydrating in and of themselves.
Okay, cool. And if nothing seems to work for you there, not to undercut anything, but I know when I had my son, and of course, when you get pregnant, you get stretch marks. And the one thing I was told by my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother, cocoa butter, use cocoa butter, just get you a little bar of cocoa butter and just rub it in place. And when they did my neck surgery, and they go through the front of your neck, not the back of your neck, to fuse vertebrae. And as soon as I could take the bandage off, that it was healed enough, I started putting cocoa butter on the incision part. And now the scar is hardly noticeable, but it took, between the Neosporin and the cocoa butter, I was constantly putting stuff on my neck, and it made a big difference.
Discipline is a very important part.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Kathy, Greeks
Kathy.
make great products.
Hello,
I'm waiting
Kathy.
for my first delivery. Yay, she's already ordered.
Yes, she has. Hi, Kathy.
And then
Nice
she
to see you.
said my papu, I'm not sure how
Her
to say that.
grandfather, Papu, grandfather in Greek,
Okay, was
Yanni
Yanni Apollo.
Vasilopoulos.
Okay, I'll take your word for that. I look at that many letters together and my tongue
That's
goes,
right.
no, it's not going to make it.
A lot of
I deal with a lot of students and faculty from Middle Eastern countries, and it's like they have letters that it's like, why is that letter even in there? You don't sound it out. There's not.
well, there's
Is it
one
just
thing
a
for sure.
placeholder or what? You know, it's like I don't get it. It's
There's one thing for
really
sure.
used to me butchering their names.
Greeks love syllables. Greeks love syllables.
There you go. And if you deal with Hawaiians, it's the opposite.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They love the vowels. Everything is hot.
That's true. That's true.
All these extra. My son was stationed at Pearl Harbor the last 3 years. He was in the Navy, so Mama got a free trip to Hawaii, and
Nice.
which was really fun. And you see these 10-mile long names on stuff, and it's all vowels with hardly any consonants. It's like, how the hell are you supposed to say that? And it took a while to figure it out. And let's see, Terry said, just ordered my first order starter pack. So
Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much.
that's the one I would say, man, go for the starter packs. That's a good kind of just beginning of where to go with this and see what happens.
It gives you everything you need for your good old average day. So, it's going to have everything there. And one of the nice things about the serums too is that you can put more than one serum into the moisturizer. You can put daytime protection and anti-aging together in with the moisturizer.
That's what I do.
And that
one
way,
pump of the moisturizer and a squirt of one and a squirt of the other, and I mix.
And you start to change the functionality. You enhance that even further. So it's all about how to take control for yourself.
There you go. There you go. Terry says, I have an Uncle Themi.
Uncle Themi and Aunt Christina in Cupertino. Christina. Nice.
There you go. Well, we got a lot of Greek heritage here. That's fantastic.
I love
that.
At the end of the show, I'm going to have my spanakopita and a piece of baklava, and we'll enjoy the day.
There you go. So yeah, I was going to say we got a couple of Greek restaurants here in town that are really popular. Zeus is the name of it. Zeus. Yep. We've got like 3 or 4 of them here in town, and they do Greek food, some Middle Eastern food, and Indian food from like India. Wow. And so it's really popular on campus, so we have our own store on campus actually. And there's always lunchtime. There's like a line out the door and down the sidewalk. Kids will wait in line for it. It's really good. So I'm French. So what can I say? It's Scotch, Irish, French, English, Dutch, and Cherokee. That's what I make up. So,
okay. That's a great mix.
And I'm Cajun. So, we came from the Acadians. It came down from Nova Scotia. As well as a mix of everything. My mother used to laugh and just say, we're just a smorgasbord. We got a little bit of everything. That works too. So I keep saying I'm going to do one of those DNA tests just to solidify how much am I of everything.
Everything. Well, the whole world is a smorgasbord, right? I mean, so
yeah, I think the more we get mixed, the better it is because we get a little bit of everything all blended together. And I just wanted to see. I've already kept you an hour and a half. We've been at this for a while. I didn't mean to keep you that long.
No, it's been
fantastic. It's been really great.
It's been amazing.
Acadian proud. We call each other our Cajun cousins. We're both Cajuns.
I love
But she's from up in Nova Scotia, so we laugh about that. Hey, my cousin's here. So, um, and yes, Kay, you can use it at night.
it.
I use it with the night formula at nighttime. I use the nighttime and the anti-aging together. It's a pump of the moisturizer and a drop of each one of these, and it's perfect. I do in the daytime. I use the daytime and the anti-aging together. You know, every now and again, if I have a breakout or something, then I'll use the breakout serum. And then the dry skin, damaged skin ones, I don't really have that on my face per se, but where it goes on my arms and my hands and my legs, it's fantastic. So, let's see here. Just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions directly for you. So, and somebody's timer went off.
Yes,
Okay,
sorry about that.
that's
So
okay. Mine makes a different noise. I was like, nope, that was not my phone's. But then I have a house full of these. My son lives with me. My brother and his son live with me. And 2 dogs, a cat with 3 kittens, and a lizard. So we have a full house all the time, you
that
know?
is a full house.
Yeah. And so it's amazing that it's been so quiet. Usually everybody's walking by and I'm like, I'm on air. I keep saying I'm going to get one of those lighted signs that says on air that I can hang
Yes,
up outside
yes,
of my space. So
that's right.
when it's flashing at them, they'll know to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
They try. They really
That's
do
like
try.
the pros. Yeah.
That's it. Well, Andrew, I don't see any more specific questions. Again, I mean, if there's stuff you want to know about the product, you can go to the website. They've got uh, a help desk like thing where you can email just about any time, 24 hours a day, and there's
Absolutely.
somebody there that'll respond. So,
Absolutely.
uh,
So,
and
Sherry, I wanted to just say thank you so much for
thank
giving me
you.
this time today. I can't begin to thank you enough. And I can't begin to thank your audience enough. Again, the support has been amazing. You know, we're starting out, but we're going to stay for the long term, that's for sure. And
That's it.
we really
When they become like super big and rich and famous, we can all be, I knew him when. I remember when they started.
That's right. Well, you're going to be doing my infomercials, right? So, I mean, you know,
That's
we'll
right.
still
By
know.
then I'll be doing the infomercials, so y'all will get sick of
Yeah,
looking at me anyway.
infomercial gal.
That would be fun. I never thought of doing that. So,
There you go. There
or
you go.
voiceovers. I've had people ask me if I did voice like readings and
There you
stuff.
go.
Like,
Indeed.
no, but maybe that's something to look into at a later date. When I know I have a quiet area, you got to really be in an area that's kind of soundproof for that. Um, but yes, thank you so much for coming. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
hanging so long. I mean, wow,
Thank
we've
you.
been an
It's
hour
been a
and
pleasure.
28 minutes. So
It's been a pleasure.
this
A
has
real
been,
pleasure.
thank you, Grandmama Andrew Nikki. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Everything you did to steer this channel right this way.
Yeah.
To bring us Andrew. So that's been the wonderful thing. And I'm sorry Mel couldn't join us. I had buzzed him and said, hey, Andrew's coming on. You want to join us for a few minutes? And he's like, I would, but he's got a house full of family. So I was like,
Right.
no, stay with your family. And because I know he doesn't get to see a lot of them that much. And but thank you again so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on and so willing to spend time and answer questions and talk about all the different things that can be done and how it all works. And I think it will help people to understand why we're all talking about it so much, because it's truly wonderful.
I appreciate it very much.
And y'all, it doesn't break the bank. I have spent double, triple the amount of money at a drugstore or one of the big name brand makeup type stores trying to find skincare that worked for me. doesn't. Like I said, I've got a linen closet full of bottles and jars of stuff that doesn't work, that I've tried and bought. And so
Yeah.
it's,
We all do, I think. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So it's like when you find something that works, it's so much easier. I mean, anybody can get paid to do a commercial, and how good of an actor they are will determine if you believe them about the product. 'Cause I know there's a lot of things that people sell, they don't believe in it at all. But when it's just, because you can tell when somebody really uses something or really likes something. There's kind of a difference in that approach. So thank you again so much, Andrew, for coming on and
Thank you,
spending
Sarah.
so
Thank you
much
so
time
much.
with us. I so appreciate it. Thank y'all for coming and hanging out. Um, I so appreciate y'all, and thanks for allowing me to go have fun tonight and not being mad because I won't be on. Next week, I'll slumber party next week, and Ramon will be my co-host. So y'all love Ramon. He's awesome. Um, and so that's another one in his 50s who looks like he's in his 20s. It's like,
Wow.
what is it with Puerto Rican men that y'all all look? You're all gorgeous. I don't understand. He just laughs at me.
Genetics.
He's a sweetie. So thank y'all again. Y'all have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk again soon. So bye for now.
Ciao.